Shalom, children of the Most High Yahweh, our Elohim, and welcome. We are getting ready to study tonight for our Shabbat Bible study. So, Shabbat Shalom. So, tonight we will be studying Genesis, Bereshith, which is Genesis, chapters 25 and 26. So go ahead and go grab your Bibles, and we'll get started tonight. I need y'all to go get your Bibles and read along with me, so that way you learn by hearing and by seeing, and so do I. So let's get started tonight. Okay. Bereshith, Genesis, chapter 25. And Abraham took another wife, whose name was Keturah, and she bore him Zimran, and Yokshan, and Medan, and Midian, and Yashbak, and Shuah, and Yokshan brought forth Sheba and Dedan. And the sons of Dedan were Ashurim, Letushim, and Leumim. I know, my enunciations are terrible. I'm working on them. And the sons of Midian were Ephah, and Epher, and Hanok, and Abda, and Eldaah. All these were the children of Keturah. Now Abraham gave all that he had to Isaac. But to the sons of the concubines whom Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts while he was still living, and sent them away from his son Isaac eastward, to the land of the east. And these are all the years of Abraham's life, which he lived, 175 years. And Abraham breathed his last, and died in a good old age, aged and satisfied, and was gathered to his people. And his sons, Isaac and Ishmael, buried him in the cave of Machpelah, which is before Mamre, in the field of Ephron, son of Sohar the Hittite. The field which Abraham purchased from the sons of Heth. There Abraham was buried with his wife Sarah. And it came to be, after the death of Abraham, that Elohim blessed his son Isaac, and Isaac dwelt at Beer-lahai-roi. And this is the genealogy of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar, the Mitzrayim, Sarah's female servant, bore to Abraham. And these were the names of the sons of Ishmael, by their names, according to their generations. The firstborn of Ishmael, Nebaioth, then Kedar, and Abdibel, and Mibsam, Mishma, and Duma, and Masa, Hadar, and Tamah, Yetur, Nephish, and Kedemah. These sons were born to Ishmael, and these were their names by their towns and their settlements, 12 chiefs according to their tribes. And these were the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years. And he breathed his last, and died, and was gathered to his people. And they dwelt from Havilah as far as Shur, which is east of Mizraim, as you go towards Ashur. he settled before all his brothers. And this is the genealogy of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham brought forth Isaac. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah as wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Aramean of Paddan, the sister of Laban, the Aramean. And Isaac prayed to Yahweh for his wife, because she was barren. And Yahweh answered his prayer, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. And within her the children struggled together, and she said, If all is right, why am I this way? So she went to ask Yahweh, and Yahweh said to her, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples shall be separated from your body, and 1 people shall be stronger than the other, and the older serve the younger. And when the days were filled for her to give birth, and see, twins were in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, so they called his name Esau. And afterward his brother came out, with his hand holding on to Esau's heel. So his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 60 years old when she bore them. And the boys grew up, and Esau became a man knowing how to hunt, a man of the field, while Jacob was a complete man, dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau, because he ate of his wild game, but Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob cooked a stew, and Esau came in from the field, and he was weary. And Esau saw that Jacob said to Jacob, Please feed me with that same red stew, for I am weary. That is why his name was called Edom. But Jacob said, Sell me your birthright today. And Esau said, Look, I am going to die, so why should I have a birthright? Then Jacob said, Swear to me today. And he swore to him, and sold his birthright to Jacob. Jacob then gave Esau bread and stew of lentils, and he ate and drank, and rose up and left. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Okay, that's 25. And a lot going on here, because after Sarah passes away, then Abraham feels the need to take another wife and have a bunch of more kids. And all these kids, there's meanings with their names and who they are. So you might want to go ahead and pull out that yellow highlighter and hit these names of these people, because these end up being places, and there's more information coming about a lot of these people. So go ahead and hit these names with your highlighter. And then we get to where Abraham dies. And Ishmael comes back, and him and Isaac together bury their father in the cave with Sarah. That's why Abraham had them deed the land to him. That way there's no questions. It's his land. Okay? Then we come down here into the genealogies of Ishmael. Now Ishmael is very interesting, and there again we need to highlight these names, because these people are on the other side of the family, and there's not a lot mentioned about a lot of these, but there's some of them that are mentioned because they end up being places, towns, etc. But when we start getting into the extra canonical, there's a lot more information about these people. Okay, we get to see both sides of the family in the extra canonicals, in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Okay, so you might want to go ahead and mark these for future reference because these names do come up again. Then we come down to where Isaac and Rebekah are wanting to have children, and they can't because Rebekah's barren, kind of like Sarah. So we have Rebekah that's now praying to Yahweh and asking Yahweh, and Yahweh lets her know, hey kid, I got this covered. There's going to be 2 that come. That's pretty much all he said. One's stronger than the other, and the stronger is going to serve the lesser. The older is going to serve the younger. Okay? That's about all he lets her know, but he reassures her that it's going to happen. So then the brothers are born, Esau being born first, and then Isaac, Jacob, I'm sorry. Esau comes out first, and then Jacob's hanging on to his ankle comes out after him. Okay? So right there from the beginning, there's a struggle between Esau and Jacob. You want to take note of that because, like I said, further on, we're going to be seeing these struggles between these brothers again. A lot of strife. A lot of strife. Okay? So we go through here a little bit further, and Ishmael's out hunting one day, and he comes back, and he's all weary, and he's wiped out, and on his last, and Jacob's making some stew. So he sits down, and he tells Jacob to pour him some stew because he's about ready to keel over. And Jacob says, yeah, sure, sell me your birthright. Because see, birthright means a lot. The firstborn is the inheritor of the master of the family. Okay? So the firstborn is where your genealogy continues, where your bloodline continues. And in order for the bloodline to continue with Jacob, this had to happen. Okay? And I know it's not mentioned in here, but when we get to the extra canonicals, you're going to find out that the reason that Esau is all wiped out is because he was out hunting and ended up putting an arrow through a pretty important person and killing them. Okay? So he thinks he's going to get it too because he just went and did something off the rails. Okay? So he's thinking that he's a dead man anyway. Yeah, what's a birthright? Who cares? So that's how Jacob becomes the inheritor of Isaac, because he's the second born. But Esau gave it all away. Said, here you go. You might as well take it. I don't need it. Okay? So that brings us up to 26. I'm going to start in right there. And there was a scarcity of food in the land, beside the first scarcity of food which was in the days of Abraham. And Isaac went to Abimelech, there's that name again, sovereign of the Philistines, in Gerar. And Yahweh appeared to him and said, do not go down to Mitzrayim, Egypt. Live in the land which I command you. Sojourn in this land, and I shall be with you, and bless you. For I give all of these lands to you and your seed, and I shall establish the oath which I swore to Abraham your father. And I shall increase your seed like the stars of the heavens, and I shall give all these lands to your seed. And in your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed. Because Abraham obeyed my voice and guarded my charge, my commands, my laws, and my Torah. So see, even back in the time of Abraham, there was Torah, the law. Hasn't ever changed. Continued to be the same always. because Yah never changes. Okay, so the Torah has not changed at all. And Isaac dwelt in Gerar, and when the men of the place asked about his wife, he said, "She is my sister." For he was afraid to say, "She is my wife," thinking, lest the men of this place should kill me for Rebekah, because she is good looking, like father, like son. And it came to be, when he had been there a long time, that Abimelech, sovereign of the Philistines, looked through his window, and he watched and saw Isaac playing with Rebekah his wife. So Abimelech called Isaac and said, "See, truly she is your wife. So how could you say, 'She is my sister'?" And Isaac said to him, "Because I said, lest I die on account of her." And Abimelech said, "What is this you have done to us? One of the people had almost lain with your wife, and you would have brought guilt on us?" And Abimelech commanded all his people, saying, "He who touches this man or his wife shall certainly be put to death." And Isaac sowed in that land, and reaped in the same year 100-fold, and Yahweh blessed him. And the men grew great, and went forward, until he became very great. And he came to have possessions of flocks, and possessions of herds, and a great body of servants, and the Philistines envied him. And the Philistines had stopped up all the wells which his father's servants had dug in the days of Abraham his father, and filled them with dirt. Here's the wells again. And Abimelech said to Isaac, "Go away from us, for you are much mightier than we." So Isaac went from there, and pitched his tent in the Wadi Gerar, and dwelt there. And Isaac dug again the wells of water, which they had dug in the days of Abraham his father, for the Philistines had stopped them up after the death of Abraham. And he called them by the names which his father had called them. But when Isaac's servants dug in the wadi, and found a well of running water there, the herdsmen of Gerar strove with Isaac's herdsmen, saying, "The water is ours." And he called the name of the well Esek, because they strove with him. And they dug another well, and they strove over that one too, and he called its name Sitnah. And he moved from there, and dug another well, and they did not strive over it. And he called its name Rehoboth, and said, "For now Yahweh has made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land." And from there he went up to Beersheba, and Yahweh appeared to him the same night, and said, "I am the Elohim of your father Abraham. Do not fear, for I am with you, and shall bless you and increase your seed for my servant Abraham's sake." And he built a slaughter place there, and called on the name of Yahweh, and he pitched his tent there, and the servants of Isaac dug a well there. And Abimelech came to him from Gerar with Ahasuerus, one of his friends, and Pichol, the commander of his army. And Isaac said to them, "Why have you come to me, seeing you have hated me, and have sent me away from you?" But they said, "We have clearly seen that Yahweh is with you." And we said, "Please, let there be an oath between us, between you and us, and let us make a covenant with you," a promise, "that you do no evil to us, as we have not touched you, and as we have done only good toward you, and have sent you away in peace. You are now blessed by Yahweh." And he made them a feast, and they ate, And they drank. And they rose early in the morning and swore an oath with one another. And Isaac let them go, and they departed from him in peace. And on the same day it came to be that the servants of Isaac came and informed him about the well which they had dug, and said to him, We have found water. So he called it Sheba. Therefore the name of the city is Bereshith to this day. And when Esau was 40 years old, he took as wives Yehidith, the daughter of Berai the Hittite, and Basmath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. And they were a bitterness of spirit to Isaac and Rebekah. So, you can see here that Esau took 2 heathen wives. He didn't stick to the plan and go to Uncle Laban's to get a wife. So he's too deep in heathen wives. The bloodline, it's a thing. Can't have these heathen blood in the bloodline, because this bloodline leads to Yeshua. Okay? So there's quite a bit going on here too. I would suggest either rereading this by yourself or listen to the video again and read it again, so that way you get the gist of all this and you're able to put highlighter in where you feel that you're going to need it. Because there are certain places in here, like we see old Abimelech is back. The Philistines are back. And they're making deals with Isaac. Okay. That's it for 26 and 27. 25 and 26, sorry. There is something I would like to share with you here. Okay, let me find it real quick and we will look it over. Here it is. Okay, now I'm going to move the camera, so get ready to take a ride if I can stretch this all the way over here. Okay, let's see here. Ooh, let's see if I can get a hold of this. Is this forward or backward? Here, hang on a second. Let me see if I can move this a little bit more so we can get a look at this, because this is pretty important. Okay, can we see this? I sure hope so. I'll try moving it a little more. Okay, this is a table of genealogy from Adam to Jacob. This is in the back of my Bible. Let me see if I can move my arm so it's not such a bad shadow here. Okay, on the top here we have Adam. And we have the dates that Adam was alive. See that? And the interesting thing about this is that we come down here to Noah. Here's Noah right here. Okay, that's where Noah lived. How long he lived. See this? So, after knowing how long Noah lived, then we can go down here to Abraham, right here, and we can see that Abraham was alive while Adam was still living. Oops, sorry about that. See, Noah right here, and then down here we have Abraham, and they are alive at the same time. See that? That and that? They were alive at the same time. He was still alive when Abraham was alive. Noah, right there. So, it's interesting to see. I wish I could get a better picture of this, a better shot of it. Because when you look up here to Adam, Adam was still alive up until the time of Lamech. Noah's father. Okay? So, this is also interesting that Lamech and Methuselah, the man who lived 969 years, both died. Let me see if I can get this a little better. Ugh. They both died as the world flooded. Both of them. So Methuselah and Lamech both died as it flooded. Interesting, huh? That those two who were father and son died so they did not have to go through the flood. This is an interesting table. I wish I could get a better picture of it for you. I'm going to try to. Let's see what I can do. Whoops. Now we're getting all messed up here, ain't we? Because I moved this camera. Okay. Back to where we were at least. Alright. I know. Crazy, huh? But I just thought that I would kind of introduce you to that table. Let's see if I can get a better picture of it, because that was pretty lousy. Sorry. Let's see if I can get that camera to pull up a little bit better. We'll check it out on the next one, okay? Alright, well, I think that's all I've got for you tonight. And I thank you for joining me. Reread it. Pray over it. See what Yahweh tells you. And I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you're enjoying this study of Bereshith, which is Genesis. And by chance, if you happen to just find this channel, just out of the blue, go back to Genesis 1:1 and start there. So you get an understanding of everything that is going on here. It'll make it so much more complete for you if you know what happened from the beginning. Okay? Alright, gang. Well, thank you for coming by this evening. Let me find my mouse again. And I hope you have a great Shabbat. Okay? Shabbat Shalom. And we'll see you later.